We're going to transition from sport to music, more specifically hip hop, rap. Um, it's been the game has been shaken up, over the weekend.
Yep.
And the reason that is because Future and Metro Boomin dropped the album. Okay, and those of you who know who Metro Boomin is a very very talented producer. And him and Future are very good collaborators with each other. And they came back with another project titled "We Don't Trust You." And on the track list, when the track list came out, it didn't show any features. Didn't show any features on there.
I hate that.
Know what?
I like to be able to see that, so I can click on it. And if it's a guy I like, because anyway.
You know what? No. I don't dislike it when it comes to artists that I like. You know what I'm saying? But if it's somebody that I'm listening to for the first time, yeah, I would like to know who's on the
I'll
song.
give you that. Because there's Kanye's done that a few times with his albums.
Done that.
And I'm going to listen to mostly every song anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Metro Boomin Future, I like Future a lot. But I think we're similar fans of Future, where a song kind of has to get hyped up on an album before we're going to go listen to every single song on that album.
Yeah. I would say the same. Or if I have some time on my hands, if I heard that he was dropping an album, maybe I wouldn't necessarily be quick to run to it and right at midnight or whatever day that it drops, I had to press play on it. But it would be one of those times if I have time and opportunity.
Yep.
And which I so happen to have.
Yeah, you actually.
And again, to our surprise, the sixth song on the track list featured Kendrick Lamar. And he's coming with that competitiveness that we are used to seeing him come with. It's been I'll say a few years since we heard him come with this intensity, but he came with it, man, and called out two great high caliber artists, and Drake, who we know we listen to a lot of. Happens to be my favorite artist. And J. Cole, who we've covered actually on the show. We reacted to one of his songs before. He called out the both of them recently on song, saying that let me just go ahead and run it. Give you all kind of some brief history here. So Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake, they are known to a lot of people as being the three top MCs in rap, from their style, their delivery, to the amount of hits that they have. These have been the three guys, right? And J. Cole has embraced it. Drake, to a certain extent, has embraced it. But Kendrick didn't seem like he was too big of a fan of that. Okay. He said on this song that basically F the big three. Right. It's just big me, alluding to himself. So saying that I'm number one, and you guys can take second place in the bronze or whatever you want to call it, but I'm not into doing all the clicking up or whatever, because Drake and J. Cole recently went on tour together and were showing a lot of love back and forth to each other. And listen, Drake and J. Cole are competitive. Even on First Person Shooter, J. Cole, was people debate if it's me, Drake, or Kendrick. But I feel like Muhammad Ali. I feel like I'm the greatest. He still is able to show love but still be competitive. Where Kendrick believes that no love needs to be shown. It just needs to be all competitiveness, and let's see who's the best. Let's see if you guys are really about what you talk about. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it coming from Kendrick Lamar. So, but yeah, that was a brief rundown. That's what happened. Kendrick Lamar is bringing the competitiveness back to rap, and I want to know how you feel about it.
And he brought up First Person Shooter. He said First Person Shooter to set up that line to say, "Fuck the big three.
Yeah,
it's big me."
Yeah.
Listen, I like it too. I mean, from a perspective of, some good stuff, I like it.
Yeah.
But let's break it down a little bit.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
It's I don't know. There's a few things I don't love about it. He chose to do it on a Metro Boomin Future album that doesn't even show his name as a feature or in the byline of, as like he's one of the artists that's doing the song. It's a sneaky diss in that facet. Had this been on one of his albums or one of his singles, I think I would respect it even more. But since it's a diss that is coming on someone else's project, I think it takes away from the level of intention. I think if he did that on one of his singles, then I would be like, oh man, then he's really coming to play. Okay. But we're talking about Kendrick, who rarely drops his own projects.
That's true.
Only puts out a project.
That's another reason why this was so big. We haven't heard from him in a while.
What was it?
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was the last.
Was 2022, and before that it was 2017. Was Damn.
Before that, I will say that that was his big solo album. Yeah, Damn was before that.
We're talking about 5 years stretch.
He had
big albums between each other.
He had some other albums. I think he did like the soundtrack for the Black Panther.
Yeah,
movie.
True.
He had some features with Baby Keem, who happens to be his cousin.
Yep.
Very talented artist. That's crazy. But no, I see what you're saying.
And this is what I'm saying. I believe, I like it. I like the competitive edge, but now he needs to prove it to me. Because one reason I think Kendrick is a top three, but maybe the most talented of those three. The way he delivers his raps, the way he writes his raps, and the way he performs them. I think from a trifecta there, he's, I think, the better. And you've seen both, so you can tell me your opinion on this. You've seen both live. I think Kendrick outperforms anyone in the rap game as far as a performance goes and the theatrics involved. It's similar to what, I'm guessing Taylor Swift fans or Beyonce fans get when they're going to one of those superstar concerts. It's more than just the rap lyrics and the songs that are still great when Kendrick when Kendrick is rapping in your ear with an earphone.
Right.
Still amazing work, whether it's Drake, J. Cole, or Kendrick, but I think Kendrick takes it to a whole new another level when he's performing. And then his lines, when he gets on a roll, that's where it really gets close for me. I think Kendrick is probably top tier, maybe at that top when it comes to that. But J. Cole is right there behind him, and Drake's not far off behind him. He's either as far as straight bars and flow matched together.
You know what? And Drake, I think you would have him higher, if he really just embraced rap, full time, because he's more.
But I don't want him to do that, because I love Honestly Nevermind. I
do too. I like whatever I like a lot of the stuff that he does put out. Again, I wish some of the high Billboard charted songs of Drake were more so of him like rapping and providing that balance of the melody and everything like that. But going back to your point real quick about Kendrick deciding to shoot shots at J. Cole and Drake on this song specifically with Future and Metro Boomin. I guess it's some history between, or not even history. I guess there's beef right now between Future and Drake and Metro Boomin.
Metro, yeah.
It started off with just Drake and Metro Boomin. I'm not going to do too much speculation, even though I know, kind of what's going on there. And then since Future and Metro Boomin are pretty close with each other, have history of doing collab albums, just like this one. Future is like, you know what, this is my guy. Even though me and Drake are cool, because Drake and Future have done a collab album, right? But I guess there may have been some stuff going on behind the scenes where there was tension. Then Future finds out Drake and Metro Boomin have issues, and that was that, right? Because there were people predicting that "We Don't Trust You," that album title was kind of referring to Drake, right? It's a lot of stuff right there, but I'm saying it's a heck of a chess
Probably
move,
is.
hell of a chess move by Metro Boomin, because I believe he made the call. It was like, you know what, Kendrick, I can use something for you. Or if it wasn't from Metro, heck of a chess move from Kendrick Lamar. Understanding that there's issues between Future and Drake. Future Metro Boomin versus Drake. Him understanding that, and was like, you know what, this is my opportunity to get something off of my chest by telling Drake and J. Cole directly, I don't like what you all are doing on tour together. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like this whole big three talk. I'm him. You know what I'm saying? And that just, he's expressing that competitiveness. And I know rap is, it's, I love rap, and I love when people are competitive with it, because sports and music have been compared to each other. Well, I guess rap and music have been compared, and many people say they're synonymous to each other. But the only difference is, music is, and rap is more subjective. It's more about, who you like and everything like that. Like, there's not actual competition where they're going to come together and there's going to be like a clear winner. The closest thing that we have to that, though, is these beefs and when people are jumping on record. So people will probably say that Kendrick Lamar right now has one up in this beef, or this war, I should say, since it involves many people and many different sides. Many people will say that he has one up right now, and they are awaiting and anticipating a response from J. Cole and Drake. So, and J. Cole's been out claiming it. He's working on the fall off. It'll be coming out pretty soon. Probably the summer is what I'm hearing. But many people think that he's going to respond, because J. Cole's been on that. I'm the best. I'm this, that, and nobody can touch me. He's been out and expressed that as well. The only difference is he's still able to, again, come together with a guy like Drake, do the tour, show love to each other. But Kendrick just doesn't seem as interested in doing it.
And even in J. Cole's lyrics, like we said, like, he's just able to show love and say I'm the best at the same time.
Yeah.
And I respect that even more. Whereas the way Kendrick's doing it, and then you add in the Metro Boomin album title, could be directed it could be directed towards Drake. If it is, I believe Drake is just living in these dudes' minds rent free. That's what it tells me, especially when they're not going to give the dude props. Yeah. We're talking about Drake, a mastermind of rap and music in general, and beef over what? Like, for real, over what?
It's over a woman, bro. And
we need that out there, bro.
Listen, come on. I was trying to keep it.
We need that. We need. No,
I know.
We
my
need
wife
those.
is gonna have to be mad at me. Okay. Well, listen. Technically, Kendrick may be responding, or Kendrick and Future. This whole little thing may be in a response to Drake, because Drake just dropped the album called "For All the Dogs" not too long ago. He had a song on "For All the Dogs" called "What Would Pluto Do?"
Yep.
Allegedly,
with Future.
This and I kind of thought it was odd too, especially since Future wasn't featured on the song called "What Would Pluto Do?" But he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't, was he?
Uh-huh.
He was just for some reason I hear Future's like voice in that song, but you're right.
You would think
he's just talking about it. It's just because Pluto is obviously Future's little nickname,
right?
Yep.
Right. I'm glad that you brought that up, because some people may not know that. But yeah, that song was on there, and it's basically talking about Drake, contemplating on whether if he should, mess with this girl or not, and he thinks to himself to make the decision if he should mess with this girl. What would Pluto do? And then on the hook he says, well, Pluto would mess with this girl, so I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
Allegedly, the girl that he's referencing is Metro Boomin's girl. Okay, we all know Drake. If those of you who follow Drake, you know that he can be he prides himself on being the petty king at times. So allegedly, Future messed with Metro Boomin's girl before Metro Boomin started messing with her, right? Drake knows this, and I guess Drake has an opportunity to mess with Metro Boomin's girl too. So he's just like, knowing that Future messed with her in the past, he is contemplating, what should I do? And apparently, he he did the girl
while she was with Metro.
No, yes, while she was with Metro, right?
Is Metro still with this girl?
I doubt it. And maybe, okay. And listen,
is she an Instagram model type, or is she got?
Probably. There have been some. Nobody's quite sure what girl they're referencing to.
Okay.
But there's been photos going around online. Definitely looks like the Instagram model type.
Yeah. Okay.
But that is the background.
Yep. Okay.
Of it.
So I appreciate that.
You know how Drake. You know.
I think our viewers needed that too.
Yeah.
So thank me for asking that question.
Yes. That I'm glad that you asked that. But that was Drake's clever way of saying, "Hey, I slept with Metro Boomin's girl."
Yep.
Right.
So now it makes more sense. We don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of interesting doing it with Future when Future did your girl too back in the day.
Yeah. And I think maybe that was, how sometimes
sure.
With guys like, hey, like before your homie gets involved with some girl, you might tell her, hey, we got history between each other. But if you really like her, go ahead and shoot your shot. Do what you got to do. So maybe it was one of them situations. That's probably how the conversation between Metro Boomin and Future went. True. But still, Drake. Yeah. If I don't think it was as cool as a conversation or any conversation at all when it came to Drake messing with this girl. But apparently, even their history between Future, Metro Boomin, and Drake, it goes back. They've been in it for maybe a year or so now. Because on Her Loss, there's a song called More M's where it's the song More M's is produced by Metro Boomin, but people are saying that Drake was taking shots at Future on there. On Drake's whole verse alone, he was talking about Future being fake. Future being fake, talking to girls, pillow talking to girls behind Drake's back, and I guess it came that word got back to Drake that Future was pillow talking, and that's why he was like, let me kick it basic. These dudes ain't got love for their boy, so they fake it. Crack a couple jokes on some snake But if I send a verse to their ass, then they take it. And then he was like, something, hop around with me on stages. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, all of this stuff is coming out stemming from this Kendrick Lamar verse. It's just so many elements, and I'm sorry if you all sound confused or maybe thinking it's a lot going on. It's because it is a lot going on. A little bit more toxic between Future, Metro Boomin, and Drake, but more on the competitive side between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And if you ask me what I'm looking forward to the most, is I do want to see. I'm more so interested in the Kendrick Lamar and Drake thing, honestly, because I think this will light a fire up underneath my favorite artist, being Drake, to really embrace this what I feel like he's super talented at, and that's rapping. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not saying to sacrifice his ability to sing now.
Which listen, you know what I mean? I will say he's put out enough singing stuff. I wouldn't mind if he goes on a real streak of rapping as well.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy his softer songs, but no, I mean, like I love Drake rap as much as the next guy. So
there we go. Like I'm saying, I like the Billboard stuff is cool. Like he doesn't. Those songs I like too. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like those songs, but the what gets me most excited as a Drake fan is like his AM PM series, like 9 a.m. in Dallas, 6 p.m. in New York, 4 a.m. in Calabasas, 30 for 30 freestyle. You know, that's the Drake that, you know, gets me the most excited, and where he is able to express that competitiveness in rap. So
well, even like the what would Pluto do? He spits on that.
Yeah,
like, he's rapping like.
Yeah. So
and what's the? Because I do like his. That's the thing, is he's great at too, like making a nice soft beat into still like some really good rap.
Man,
like 7 a.m. on Bridle Path, which I mean that's another you know, what do they call it? Timestamp song.
Timestamp.
Yeah.
8 a.m. in Charlotte.
Yeah, all those songs. And then what's the one I'm thinking of in this latest album where he might be? Man, I need to look it up now.
The latest one, you can probably describe it to me,
it's the softer. It's got the piano in it, and he raps over the piano.
It's not Away From Home, is it?
No.
It's probably 8 a.m. in Charlotte.
Yeah, it is.
yeah, it's probably 8 a.m. in Charlotte.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. And I love Members Only on that. That's the thing, is everything Drake puts out. Virginia Beach.
Yeah. And you know what? I wish I knew. We've got copyrighted before, y'all, so that's the only reason why we didn't really, you know, listening to the songs and reacting to this. So, you know, appreciate y'all following us thus far. I did pull up, you know, some of K-Dot's lyrics, and I'm sure you all have seen it in some shape or form. You know, he alluded to, you know, first person shooter. He was like, F sneak dissing, because Drake and Kendrick, they traded shots over the years. More so Drake subliminals, you know, but all in response, because he still may be salty about, you know, Kendrick Lamar's Control verse back in 2012 on Big Sean's song, where he called out everybody in a similar fashion, but it was more broad, you know. But Kendrick, you know, he doesn't shy away from saying that he's the best. Neither does Drake. Neither does J. Cole.
What he shies away from, though, is putting out music consistently. That's the one thing. And listen, part of that I think helps Kendrick and create albums that are so complete and so complex and beautiful.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you talking this shit, I better see instead of seeing a 5-year gap between two big albums, it's now been 2 years. Yeah. It's coming up on 2 years since its last album. We better see that next album come out within at least the next year, no more than 2. I mean, I don't want to see these 4-year gaps anymore. And that's the one thing I've always knocked Kendrick for. It's like, for me, that's why you get forgotten, bro. That's why maybe you don't even get forgotten by Drake and J. Cole, because they're still giving you or J. Cole really giving, you know, props and bringing you up in the rap and making sure that you're top 3 with everyone else. And I agree, you are top 3, Kendrick. But you can get forgotten when those other 2 dudes are putting out music consistently.
Yeah.
Consistently. Yeah. Even J. Cole doesn't put it out as much as Drake, but it's still enough to where you, as a fan, you appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's I mean, different genre of music, but a lot of Frank Ocean fans, I don't think appreciate the fact Frank Ocean just completely drops off the map for, I mean, that's even more years than Kendrick does to put out music, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I'm a huge Kendrick fan. When he puts out music, I'm like, holy cow, yeah, he's at the top again. But you're not going to remain at that top, in my opinion. And maybe I'm alone in this. I don't know. But you're not going to remain at the top when all of a sudden Drake put out 3, 4, 5 amazing albums himself in that span that it took you to put out one album.
Yeah. And I think that's where Drake feels like he has the upper hand too. In fact, he's been in a show. He kind of called Kendrick Lamar out subliminally. He was like, I'm not like these guys who come every now and again. You know, I'm going to keep my fans fed. You know, I'm going to get you all with consistency. And Drake has dropped like maybe 3 albums. Yeah. Well, yeah, Certified Lover Boy, Her Loss, Honestly Never Mind, For All the Dog. He did that all in the span of 3.5 years. You know, so he's been working.
And I'll say they're not as deep, they're not as complex as the Kendrick albums, but they're still fire. If you're a fan of Drake, you're still loving almost every song that's coming out on those albums.
And as Drake, this is an opportunity for him. I feel like one of the things is that Kendrick and J. Cole have over Drake is, substance. They get really deep. And I don't dislike Drake's substance at all because I feel like he gets deep, every now and again. But again, me liking that style of rap, I would like to see that more. But I think this is the opportunity, if he does respond, for him to really get deep in substance and, in a creative and a very clever way, provide a solid, diss track towards Kendrick Lamar and maybe even throw in Future, Metro Boomin, and whoever else he has a problem with. He got a lot of enemies right now. Well, no pun intended. I got enemies.
That's turning out to be an old school song at this point.
That's aging like fine wine.
And a lot of songs. That's the thing. Drake's style might not have as much substance as those two, but it works so well with Drake, like you just said. Like even songs like that aren't full of substance, they age like fine wine because it's still creative, it's still really good stuff,
still catchy.
But I want to is there more type vibe. But again,
is there more? See, when he gets in that bag, I love that. My favorite Drake album is Scorpion for the reason it's a double disc, one side rap. The first part of it is all rap, the second part R&B. I feel like it's the perfect. That's like the perfect Drake album anybody could, put in front of me to listen to.
Yep.
But anyways, I know, like I said, we spent a lot of time. Last thing to kind of wrap this whole thing up, talking about competitive rap. Should J. Cole and Drake respond to Kendrick Lamar's surprising, diss verse that he had for them?
Absolutely. It'd be against the unspoken rap laws to just ignore it, especially coming from someone as legendary as Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
If Drake was willing to, in a completely different situation, and it's years ago now, but if Drake was willing to give breath to Pusha T, then you got to give breath to Kendrick Lamar. We're talking about a whole other level of rapper. That beef alone between these three guys would take all three to other new heights because of how legendary those three are to, like, I think all three in their separate ways need to start taking shots. I mean, Kendrick's now started it, and that's awesome. Drake, you're probably next. J. Cole, you said that album's coming out this summer. He's probably not totally done with it. He might add a song or two still before that thing comes out.
Oh, yeah.
And one of those songs is probably, or at least the single before the album drops, is probably going to have, probably, now that Kendrick's saying it the way he is, I bet J. Cole goes away from the love.
The big it's just big me.
And I think J. Cole starts having that type of energy.
Later in the verse, he was like, now it's time for him to prove that he's a threat. I don't even think that bar from Kendrick was about J. Cole. Was about Drake. I think that was more so about J. Cole because J. Cole has recently came out and said, I'm the one after, and you brought up when we were talking off camera, Heaven's EP, after kind of feeling some type of way that he's hearing from fans that they threw the bronze at him. They threw third place at him behind Drake and Kendrick Lamar. But recently, he's been claiming it. And when First Person Shooter came out, that Kendrick, referenced in the song, a lot of people thought J. Cole got the upper hand on Drake with this verse because it was more, witty and clever, and a little bit more, had a little bit more bars and metaphors and wordplay in there than Drake's verse did. Which I still like Drake verse. I feel like it's still fire, but that's how a lot of people felt. So a lot of people have been having J. Cole number one in rap right now. So the timing is...
And I don't blame him because if there's one thing J. Cole knows how to do, he knows how to top people on their own songs time and time again. Yeah. He does that
time and time again. He calls himself, the feature killer. We turning your song in the funeral. You know what I'm
Like,
saying? Like
I love J.
embraces
Cole, man.
that.
His flow, his style, his substance all together might put him number one. But then, yeah, I mean, we already talked about it, so it's
Man,
getting to be
yeah,
a lot. But
and I wonder what mental process, J. Cole and Drake are gonna go through when figuring out how to respond to this guy. On J. Cole's end, I feel like he's just like, you know what, now's my time to show and prove to the world, why I believe that I am the best. And I think he's going to really, really take his time. He's in album mode. He's been on an incredible run. Like, he has not had a bad feature drop really ever, but he's been on a consistent feature / song run. You know what I'm talking about? So I think he's just in album mode, and he's gonna cook up something. He's been dropping like might delete laters, like short documentaries. So I think on the next one that he drops, if he does have another might delete later, we might hear a little snippet of his response to how he's feeling.
yeah,
But yeah, I think his mental process is like, okay, now it's time for me to show and prove why I believe I'm the best. With Drake, it gets a little bit more tricky because he also has Metro Boomin and Future to address, who
true.
not don't like that dissed him, but in the intro song clearly threw shots in Drake's direction. So he has Kendrick Lamar, who we all know he can be a lot to deal with. And Future, look, we can't sleep on Future
No,
either.
we can't.
But
he's a tear down, but he's still
he's still a problem.
He's still a really, really talented rapper.
He's still a problem with Metro Boomin, with the beats that Metro Boomin provides.
Oh yeah,
Future is a force to be reckoned with. So I think Drake, his mental process, I think he feels like his back may be against the wall when it comes to rap. Obviously, the pop side of things, this isn't going to affect Drake at all. But I do think that he takes pride in being just a dope spitter, a dope MC. Like, heck, he dropped the Scary Hours edition where all he was doing was rapping because people were talking about how For All the Dogs was trash and that he wasn't rapping enough. So where the mental part comes in, bro, listen, this all, these guys care about their craft. They're doing lyrical exercises, writing exercises, whatever you want to call it, trying to be the best. And best believe that, Drake is in that mode too. He's on tour right now, so he has to find a way to balance on when he's going to get back into that studio. But best believe a response is coming, and I think he addresses everybody who has something to do with dissing him. I just hope that him and J. Cole, I'm all here for it if they want to do a diss record together, but I don't think it'll look good being 2-on-1 if they attack, Kendrick. I don't think that'll look good, especially if they all individually claim that they are the best.
I agree. It's got to be two. They got to do it separately, my opinion.
Yeah.
And plus, they've done enough together, J. Cole and Drake, these last, these like to where we got more with them together on songs than we've gotten, throughout their careers.
Yeah.
Every once in a while they do stuff on each other's stuff, but not like they did on, one album. You get 2 verses of 2 songs with them collabing with each other. And then I'm sure Drake's going to be on that's if he has features. That's the one thing. J. Cole is known kind of like
when it comes to albums.
He's not when it comes to real albums, he rarely has features.
Yeah, and I like that.
I love that too.
I like that.
At least I would think a single ahead of the album probably has Drake on it. They've been working together so much. I'm
here. Like I said, if that happens, I'm here for it because I know they're not going to do. After this, they're not going to do another song together without addressing it. But I wonder, maybe this Kendrick Lamar thing, did it put
it'll be interesting
in their friendship? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now we gotta show why. They may be feeling like now I gotta show I'm the best. Maybe I can't be doing all this.
Every man for himself.
Yeah, every man for himself. People are saying that it's rap civil war right now. So you know what I'm saying? But I'm loving the competitiveness of it. Can't sleep on the mental side of things, even when it comes to music. You know what I'm saying? These guys are These guys are hungry, trying to show why they're the best. And right now, this has got everything to do with resiliency on J. Cole and Drake's end. That's why we're talking about, what mental processes they may be going through when preparing for their response to Kendrick Lamar. And
I just like, though, that these beefs are, at the end of the day, still innocent. They're not beefs like we're talking about
street stuff.
Tupac and Biggie back in the day, which also, I mean, I don't think their beef was what got them killed individually.
Right.
But also it was still, enough hatred where they would got into physical altercations with each other and this, that, and the other. But at the same time, you can also look at commonalities between the two, where that was the two best in the game at that time, and now we're finally getting the three best in the game at this time coming together and beefing with each other, which I feel like hasn't happened in a while in the rap game, where the top dogs are actually going at each other.
And that's why so many people are excited right now.
Yep.
So definitely don't think it's going to turn violent or street between J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. But when it comes to Drake versus Future, Metro Boomin, I wouldn't rule it. I wouldn't rule it out. That's all I'm saying. But that's a topic for another day. Hopefully it doesn't go there.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're interested in going and diving a little bit deeper or getting into a rabbit hole about what's going on between Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar, or Drake versus Future. I know it's a lot of stuff going on, again, that rap civil war. But again, if you have some time on your hands, look into it. I think you'll find it rather interesting. But again, man, another good, successful episode of the pod. Oh, Ice probably going to be a little mad at me. We said we'll keep it to an hour, but we're both passionate guys about this thing. But until next time, y'all, continue to intentionally take care of your mind.